Hello students, lecture 24. Today in this video we will discuss the summary of geography chapter 4, that is agriculture. In this the first point is types of farming. In India basically there are three types of farming done: primitive subsistence farming, intensive subsistence farming, and commercial farming or the plantation farming. In primitive subsistence farming, all the crops which are subsistence in nature, that is rice, wheat, millets, etc., are grown. These crops are grown on small piece of land. These crops are grown on the basis of natural fertility of the soil. Farmlands are small. Old tools like dao, hoe, sticks, digging sticks, picks, etc. are used. It is family labor based farming. Second is intensive subsistence farming. Intensive means the areas which are under high population density and crops which are grown are consumed by farmers' family, that is subsistence. So these crops are also subsistence crops like primitive wheat, rice, millets, some pulses, etc. But other than subsistence, in intensive farming, the inputs are modern: HYV seeds, fertilizers, chemicals, insecticides, herbicides, to take maximum production from the land. This is the difference between subsistence farming and intensive subsistence farming. But crops under both, that is subsistence and primitive, are consumed, they are not sold into the market. Third category is commercial farming or the plantation farming. In this, whatever production is taken is sold into the market and farmers earn money. These are plantation crops basically. Large farm tracts are needed. Labor, both type of labor, skilled and unskilled, is required. It is capital intensive farming. All modern inputs of HYV seeds, chemical, fertilizers, irrigation, and modern methods of cultivation are used, and entire production is sold again into the market for earning money. That's why it is commercial farming. Examples of commercial farming are tea, coffee, rubber, banana, sugarcane, etc. Next article is cropping seasons in India. In India, in one agricultural year, there are three cropping seasons, that is Rabi, Kharif, and Zaid. Rabi cropping season starts from October to December months. Is a cool growing season and harvested in the months of April to May. That is bright sunshine, means at the time of ripening the crops of Rabi cropping season, bright sunshine is needed, and at the time of sowing, cool growing season. Important crops of Rabi are wheat, mustard, gram, barley, etc. Next is Kharif cropping season. Kharif cropping season starts with the beginning of monsoon and goes up to September, October. Major crops grown under Kharif cropping season are jowar, bajra, maize, arhar, moong, some other pulses are also, rice. These are some important Kharif cropping season crops. These and again it is starts with the beginning of monsoon and ends in September, October month. The third category is Zaid cropping season. Zaid cropping season, it is the shortest cropping season of the agricultural year. It is also called intervening season between Rabi and Kharif. This start after the end of Rabi cropping season and ends before the beginning of Kharif cropping season. The important crops grown under this are cucumber family vegetables, watermelon, muskmelon, and green food for animals, that is called forage. And mainly it starts from the month of May, June and goes till July month, means till the monsoon rain starts. Next article is major food crops. In India, there are three important food crops, that is cereal crops. The number one is rice, number two is wheat, and number three is jowar. Rice is the most important, the first most important cereal crop of major population of India. West Bengal, Odisha, and eastern coastal belts are important areas of rice cultivation. Other than this, Haryana, Punjab, and some parts of UP are also large producer of rice. Rice in Haryana is commercial crop. It is an exception. So exceptions are important for 1 mark questions. So rice is again Kharif cropping season. It needs more than 100 centimeter rainfall. It requires a hot and humid climate. Next is wheat. Wheat is the second most important crop of food of people in India. In north and northwestern part, people consume large number of people consume wheat. Wheat is a Rabi cropping season. It requires cool growing season and bright sunshine at the time of ripening. 75 to 100 centimeter rainfall. Additional irrigation is also needed in the areas of low rainfall. Then comes millets. Millets are basically jowar, bajra, and ragi. It is a Kharif cropping season. All millets are Kharif cropping season. Jowar is grown in Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Gujarat, and it is the main food crop of people in Maharashtra. Then jowar is it is the then next is bajra. Bajra is also an important food crop of the people of Rajasthan, and it is grown largely in Rajasthan, and people of Rajasthan in winters, Haryana, etc. are consuming bajra, jowar, and ragi. These are the important cereal crops which are rich in iron, magnesium, and calcium, and roughage. Ragi, third millet is ragi. Ragi is grown in Himachal Pradesh, Arunachal Pradesh, and some states of the southern area and states. Ragi is also grown. Then after that it comes food crops other than grains. So food crops other than grains are sugarcane. Sugarcane is a tropical and subtropical climatic condition crop. It requires more than a year to grow. It is a most important raw material for sugar industry. It requires 21 degrees Celsius to 27 degrees Celsius of temperature for healthy growth. 75 centimeter to 100 centimeter rainfall or additional irrigation is needed. It is a labor intensive farming. Next one is oil seeds. India grows a variety of oil seeds. Oil seeds are grown as both Rabi and Kharif cropping season. The most important oil seed grown in India, that is groundnut. It counts 50% of all the oil seeds, and remaining other oil seeds are 50%. Gujarat, Maharashtra, Karnataka are important groundnut cultivating areas. Then it comes tea and coffee. Tea and coffee are called the beverage crops, drink crops. Tea is a tropical and subtropical bush type crop. It requires hot and humid climate. More than 100 centimeter rainfall in the form of showers is needed. And Darjeeling, West Bengal, Assam, Himachal Pradesh, some areas of Kerala and Tamil Nadu are suitable for tea cultivation. Then next is coffee. Coffee is also in high demand in the world. Indian coffee in case of taste and quality is in high demand. The first coffee cultivation was done in Baba Budan Hills, the Arabica variety. The seeds were brought from Arab and in Nilgiri Hills, that is Baba Budan Hill. Baba Budan was the one of the pilgrim who brought all these seeds, and wherever on the hill he was living, on the same hill its cultivation began. Today, the coffee cultivation is spread all over the Nilgiri hills. It is also tropical and subtropical and needs more than 200 centimeter of rainfall. After that comes horticulture crops. Horticulture crops are fruits and vegetables. India is one of the largest producer of fruits and vegetables in number in Asia. Different important fruits grown in India are mango, oranges, banana, apple, guava, lychee, etc. Vegetables, cucumber, cauliflower, potato, tomato, chili are some important vegetables grown in India. Vegetables and fruits are perennial and seasonal, and vegetables are also seasonal and perennial in exceptional cases. Then next come is fiber crops. Fiber crops are rubber, cotton and jute. Rubber is the most important raw material for rubber industry. Rubber plant is a tropical plant. It requires more than 200 centimeter rainfall, evenly distributed and well-drained fertile soil. Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka areas are suitable for rubber cultivation. Second one is cotton. Cotton is again Kharif cropping season crop. India is believed the first or the home plant for cotton plant. It requires almost 600 it requires almost 180 days, that is 6 months. That is 6 months to mature. Bright sunshine and frost free climate is needed for cotton plant. Then jute. Jute is again a tropical and Kharif cropping season crop. It is grown healthily and largely in the Hooghly Basin river of West Bengal. Jute is also an important raw material for jute industries, carpets, packing material. Nowadays, the fabric clothes are also made from high quality jute. Then technological and institutional reforms. In the field of technology, government has initiated in support of farmers the seed technology, the fertilizer technology, the farming tool technology, and farmers are using this technology to enhance their productivity. That is fertilizers, high quality fertilizers, HYV seeds, insecticides, pesticides, modern mega machines for cultivation and harvesting crops. Then institutional reforms. In 1960-70, that is the Green Revolution and White Revolution, that is on the basis of package to the farmers, and it helped the farmers of Haryana and Punjab to become rich, and agriculture has become success in these states with the help of Green Revolution and White Revolution. Then institutional reforms in 1980s and 90s, that is Land Ceiling Act. Government initiated land ceiling, that farmers, those who are having more than the prescribed amount of land, they have to release that land, or that land will be distributed among the landless farmers. Crop insurance against drought, crop fire, floods or any other natural calamity. Personal accident insurance scheme, PAYAS, for the farmers who are working in the field. Weather bulletins, exclusive DD Kisan channels to provide information to the farmers about crop diseases and their remedies are some institutional reforms initiated by Government of India in support of farmers. This is a very important article. Questions are always asked based on technological and institutional reforms. Next is Gramdan Bhudan by Vinoba Bhave. Bhudan means giving land as charity. So the farmers who are having, again, Land Ceiling Act we will discuss over here. when government initiated in 80s and 90s land ceiling act, many large farmers given their land to landless farmers with a fear that otherwise government will seize that land. And Vinoba Bhave, who declared himself as the spiritual heir of Mahatma Gandhi, once organized farmers of Andhra Pradesh, and in a meeting he was giving lecture, and to get motivated from his lecture, the large farmer Sri Ramchandra Reddy, who was a farmer of 80 acres land, he donated all his 80-acre land among the landless farmers. This was the biggest bhudan. And by getting motivation from Sri Ramchandra Reddy and Vinoba Bhave, other farmers also joined this revolution. Then Gramdan, in villages also, the medium farmers or other large farmers invited landless farmers to cultivate their land on share basis. So this is how Bhudan and Gramdan was a successful revolution, and it is also called the first bloodless revolution by Vinoba Bhave. So important questions are possibly asked of 1 mark. So you must remember Sri Ramchandra Reddy and Vinoba Bhave, Gramdan, Bhudan. The last article is contribution of agriculture to national economy. Although 53% of the GDP and 67% of population is engaged in agricultural activities, but the targeted GDP is stagnating, is not achieved, as farming or the farming activity or the primary activity is shifting towards secondary and tertiary sector. So here some initiative is needed from farmers as well as from governments more attention is needed. As agriculture provide most of the raw material to industries, so agriculture and industry are interface of each other. So industries are also moving where people are employed. So this is what is the role of agriculture in national economy. Thank you, students. That's all based on the summary of this chapter. One more thing I want to tell you. Important questions based on this chapter you will find in the description area of this video. So you slide the video up or downside, you go to description area. In that you will get some important questions and answers you can get from my video lectures, as I am discussing one by one, article by article. So I hope this way it will help you. Thank you very much and goodbye.